So yeah, I'm due to be divorced. I don't regret my marriage and I don't regret asking for the divorce. The only regret I have is not choosing myself sooner. And I'll stand on that, regardless of the comments. So yeah, I have no plan. I don't know what I'm going to do next. But I do know that I'll share all and what I can with you because there's no shame.
You catch that? I mean, are you serious? Can she be serious? Well, I guess she is, right? She says, I don't regret my marriage. The only regret she has is not bailing on her husband sooner. Y'all, that's not just bold, it's disrespect. Dripping from every word, spitting in the face of her vows, her husband, God's sacred marriage covenant. Man, this glib, I'm living my truth. If I hear that one more time, well, is so everyone has a truth now, right? Your truth, my truth. So is there no longer that truth? Is there a truth anymore? We've now got into a place where we've accepted this idea of everyone has their truth. Um, she says that, I'm living my truth. That's the attitude. But I can tell you, this is a recipe. When you start hearing people talking about my truth and your truth and avoiding that truth, we're in for a problem, right? We're in for disaster. And so what I say, this her attitude is a wrecking ball, because this is what this idea, this attitude, my truth, your truth attitude does. It's a wrecking ball to families. And she's waving it like a flag for the world to see. So I want you to stick around because we're exposing how this selfish mindset is a trap that's causing so many families, maybe including yours, right? It's a crushing way to experience relationship. And my heart goes out to people who are experiencing at the hands of people like this, a spouse like this. This is crushing marriages and scarring kids. And I have the privilege, if you want to call it that, of working with so many families. I do call it that, but in the context of what you're hearing here, it's maybe not be seen that way, but it's for me to work with families to try to help restore them and help them with the scars of lives, especially kids who've gone through selfish parents like this. So, as you can see, I have a huge issue with this. And I do hope by the end of this video, you too, maybe even halfway through, a third of the way through, you too have a huge problem with this. So, this woman's not just leaving a 10-year marriage, 10 years. She's flaunting it like a badge of honor. No care for who's watching, including her kids. They might not be watching now, but they are going to be watching, or their friends will be at a certain time in their lives. That's disrespect to her vows, her husband, and God's design, wouldn't you say? God said in Genesis 2:24, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Marriage is a holy us, right? It's not a solo spotlight in this case for her to choose herself, choose herself, choose her truth. But she's falling for the world's trap, chasing social media's highlight reels, anything that you can put out there, you put out there, right? Envying the so-called freedom others flaunt. It's a spirit of discontent. And I call it that because that's what it is, a spirit of discontent. You see it all around. It's stirred by the enemy of our souls, my friend. We got to make sure we don't forget that because he's whispering the grass is greener anywhere but your marriage. What's driving this? What's behind this? Yes, we know the enemy, But what else is behind this? Well, let's dig in and find out what I believe. There are some things that may be hidden in plain sight that's behind some of these kind of behaviors and attitudes. And unfortunately, a spouse who is like this. If this is your first time here on this channel, let me say thank you for being here. I'm Kingsley Grant, a licensed marriage and family therapist, a certified relationship coach, and host of the Build Your Happier Marriage podcast. Married for almost, as of this recording, 40 years. So 1985, you do the math. Just in case you're watching this beyond this, or this time I'm releasing this. And I have spent over 20 years, 2 decades, helping Christian families, Christian marriages, especially wives, because I find wives are the one who are more relationship conscious centric. She's the one who's constantly trying to work on the relationship, getting her husband to read this, watch this, listen to this, right? I mean, if you're a wife, you know that. And many times husbands are pushing back. They don't want to do those kinds of things because not that they don't care about the relationship, it's just not where they're at. And I've covered that at different times. But I have seen in my 2 decades or more of working with spouses like you, a wife like you, or couples, um, this kind of things, not as I would say as this flamboyant kind of attitude. And we're seeing more and more of that today because of social media. Unfortunately, everyone is after clicks and likes, and it's amazing. I mean, that's in a good way, right? But when I work with couples or spouses, I help them to reconnect with their entrepreneurial husband so you can feel seen, heard, and loved, not sidelined by his hustle or culture's lies. If you're fighting to keep your marriage strong, but tempted by the world's me first glitter, as you're going to see in this video, this channels your anchor, right? Here is this woman's, her public divorce stunt is a warning sign. And I believe that we can unpack and learn from this, what we're seeing today. So let's unpack why it's a dead end road. Now, here's what I believe with every fiber of my soul. I believe this with everything within me, and you're going to see why in a few moments. I believe that embracing the mind of Christ is the fastest and most impactful way to build a joyful, lasting marriage. Not chasing fleeting happiness or airing your life for clicks, right? God calls us to sacrifice. And that is one of those things we don't see much or hear much of today. Not self worship. Philippians 2, verse 5 says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. But in this case, right, miss social media, want to get a divorce attitude, her choose yourself vibe, right? Choose yourself, choose your truth. It's a devil's trap. It is, right? And it lures people, and it lures her in this case with envy and discontent, and it's tearing family apart. As you can see in this case, what's going to happen is happening to her very family. So here is a lure that I believe are one of the lures that social media tend to have. Let's watch this together as we see what else is happening in this clip. Let's watch this.
I'm not normalizing divorce. I'm normalizing choosing yourself and your happiness over a marriage just because marriage is okay in society. I'm getting a divorce as a married woman of almost 10 years, soon to be divorced. I can tell you, marriage, good or bad, holds this safety net of internal validation, external validation, and society just thinks, oh, you're married, great. Do you know how many people say, well done for you for being married? They don't even know how my marriage is. It's insanity.
By the way, I'm drinking my cup of java here in the afternoons as I record this, because one of those things that's just kind of, you need that, caffeine. So she said she knew the world, right? Those who are going to watch would behave the way in they behave, as if they should. What did she expect? She expected them to jump and click their heels and agree and applaud her behavior and see it as okay. And even though she said she's not normalizing divorce, Come on, your words is saying something, but your action is saying something else. Come on, decide which is it, right? She's turned her marriage's grave into a social media stage. Her marriage is dying, right? It's going to the graveyard, but she turned that graveyard into her stage yard by going to stage social media, chasing likes, while her kids, their world is crumbling. That's not empowerment. It's shallow, juvenile showboating. I know these words might be, you don't hear this too often, but it's juvenile showboating, right? Trading her family for influencer clout. She claims her kids, check this out. She claims her kids aren't losing their dad. Lady, give me a break. What do you mean? They won't have him the way that they used to. They won't even have you the way they used to. Things are going to change drastically for them. And you have no control over that. You can control your choices and make your choices. You can control the consequences. The collateral damage of this, you have no idea what awaits them. Yes, you look around and say, oh, some kids are very resilient and I've seen kids make it back. Yes, those are the exceptions. Some do, many don't, right? And if you're watching this, maybe you are a product of that, a broken system, a broken family. Somebody decided, or something happened. I'm not here to say that maybe your situation was not warranted, where your dad or mom had to break the relationship. There are times when that does happen, right? I get it. But when you find this kind of um, flamboyant and kind of this attitude, me first and all about me and what I want, chasing this fantasy. I mean, her choice is a tsunami, and these kids are caught in the waves, and they're going to feel the effect of it for a long time to come. But here's the thing: I want to make sure that I put this in there just in case you think I'm just piling it on her. I don't know her story, but maybe her husband was so buried in his vision, leaving her unseen and unheard. Maybe she's gotten to this place because she's tired of trying to get his attention. It doesn't sound that way to me, because she said she should have left her marriage a long time ago and seek out what's good for her. So it sounds like she got married but then realized she wanted to still have the free lifestyle and do her own thing. So that's no excuse, though. Even if that's true about him, that's no excuse, but it's a warning for us that disconnection breeds discontentment. So if you're disconnected in your relationship, then a discontentment can arise, and who knows where things can happen. And it's got to be so guarded. You got to be so guarded through prayer and getting the right help and surround yourself with the right people and the right friend who can speak into your life if things are going awry. Social media's highlight reels fed her envy, making her think freedom is out there, right? Freedom is out there. James 4, verse 7 says, resist the devil and he will flee. She's dancing with him instead, and her kids pay the price. They will. They'll pay the price. Now, I want you to see how um, she decides that when she fixed her mind to do something, no one changes her mind. It's amazing. She was so bent, and she's so I would say enticed by what she think is out there that she is not having, and she's going to get it. She's going to show the world she is going to get it, and nobody. But you see how she not even flinch, just speak so casually. I mean, no actually like sense of remorse or hurt or pain. It's as if she's enjoying the process and making it look so appealing. But you know, I'd love to hear. I don't know where the story ended up. I would love to hear a follow up if somebody knows. I would love to hear what happened, because she decides she's going to share everything. I hope she'll share also the good, the bad, and in between. But here's how she shrugs off everyone's concern. Let's watch this together.
So yeah, I'm due to be divorced. I don't regret my marriage, and I don't regret asking for the divorce. The only regret I have is not choosing myself sooner. And I'll stand on that, regardless of the comments. So yeah, I have no plan. I don't know what I'm going to do next. But I do know that I'll share all and what I can with you, because there's no shame.
It's like bragging. It's like bragging about this divorce. People don't understand. Divorce never ever leaves you whole. It only leaves you to go and try to find another place to fix the pain or fix whatever has led up to divorce. And she says, I don't regret it. I mean, it's amazing. I don't regret it. Now, I'm not saying she should live her life in regret, but she's now deciding she's going to share her life for the world to see and document her journey of this so-called freedom she now is going to have. No shame. She's glibly tossing her marriage like it's last season's outfit, right? Because trends are changing, so let's change marriage. No care for her husband's heart or her kids' future. That's disrespect on steroids, wouldn't you say? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you agree so far? If you agree, let me hear your comment in the comment below, and hit that thumbs up button if you're in agreement. And by the way, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, you now know why you want to subscribe like the rest of people who have. I love your engagement. I would love for you to subscribe. Now's a great time to do that. And some things you'll hear me talk about here in this video are things I talk about in the um, Joyful Marriage Quest, a 6 week biblical, evidence based, and biblical coaching journey for wives who wants to work on their relationships. I kind of came up with that because I wrote a book which you may have heard, and if you haven't, let me just quickly tell you about this book I wrote called The Joyful Wife, because I wrote this after my many years of working with couples. Like I mentioned before, 60 to 70% of divorces are initiated by women, by wives. It's understandable because they're the ones who want to get things fixed. And when it doesn't get fixed, they think that's what they got to do. I don't know if in this case, this is what she is doing, but I wrote this book because I believe that if a wife better understand her husband and understand his heart and understand what he does and what is behind what he does sometimes, and see it's not all an intentional or purposeful thing, and how she can reconnect with him through better conversations and timing and so on, then maybe the marriage can be turned around. I believe it can be turned around 180. That's why I say embracing the mind of Christ is the fastest and most impactful way for the 180 to happen. And I wrote this book and can cover some of those things inside of here. And in the Joyful Marriage Quest, the 6 week coaching journey that I want to take wives like you on, um, I want you to unpack in that how to do things different than you're seeing right here. And if you're interested in that, I want you to go to buildyourhappiermarriage.com, buildyourhappiermarriage.com/waitlist. Get on the wait list so I can always let you know when I'm opening up the next training, but also a webinar that I'm also doing and now sharing the webinar, what I call the intimacy bridge, right? The intimacy bridge, 3 steps in getting yourself from where you are to a better relationship with your husband, right? So I want to encourage you to make sure that you get on that wait list as quickly as possible. Now, as I mentioned, that what she's doing is disrespect on steroids, and I hope you agree with that. She's parading her life for the world while her family fractures. I mean, but I don't think she cares. I mean, do you hear any care in her mind that even her family is falling apart or fracturing? Do you hear any care there? I don't. I don't. Maybe you can correct me. Maybe you're here and I'm overlooking something. Maybe I'm missing something. Many husbands feeling this kind of disregard shut down or pour their energy elsewhere. And sometimes that's what husbands are doing. Not because they don't want to be involved, but they just don't know how. They shut down or they pour their energy elsewhere. And sometimes who can blame them? Who can blame them? Because they don't know what else to do, especially if you have a wife like this who's acting this way with attitude. It's all about me. I'm guarantee he's heard and seen it somewhere before in this relationship. But I want to say to you, dear wives, you don't have to follow her lead. As I mentioned before, statistically, right, 69, 70% of divorces are initiated by women. And sometimes it's often chasing this choose yourself mirage. Now, I'm not saying it always is. It's sometimes it is, though. Sometimes there's a reason, and I agree if there's any infidelity and abuse and domestic violence and those things, or someone decided to depart, there are room, and I believe that for divorce. but not the way that we're hearing and seeing here. Where do you fall in this? I mean, I would love to hear where you fall in this. I mean, am I the only one thinking this way? You know, as I mentioned, that's why I wrote that book because of this kind of thing I wanted to build to help kind of combat this kind of thinking so that we can have marriages restored and reconciled and 180 can happen. And like I mentioned before, I believe that the way to get there is embracing the mind of Christ. And I talk a lot, I mean, I unpack more of that in the happier marriage, the joyful marriage quest. Now, let's see then how she even take this a bit deeper. So we talk about we've seen how she take her attitude towards her marriage, no regret, and about her husband. Oh, she's not even thinking about him and what he is. She doesn't care. Now, here's where she dismiss the kid's pain. This is where I think sometimes couples don't understand the collateral damage. They can divorce. They're adults. They can carry their lives on. But that child. So let's hear in her own words what she have to say about her kids. You are going to be, well, I'll let you decide what your emotions should be when you hear what she does say. Let's check it out.
We're going to just wait our time until we tell the full story. But for now, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and your cup won't be refilled out of thin air. It doesn't. You have to make a change. Or you'll find yourself taking from other people's cups around you. Father is not going to see them anymore. Like, can we just stop? Like, oh, because I'm choosing to separate from you emotionally, mentally, legally, that doesn't mean my kids are doing the same.
And this cup of Java is so good. I mean, it's really good. It's really good. I wish I could share this with you, but it's good. Now, she's talking about the idea of she can't pour from an empty cup. It means that she gotta pour some things in herself. I do believe that we always should be developing and growing and getting our lives better. I do get that, right? What she's saying is that she's draining her kid's stability, and she doesn't recognize that. That is what she's doing, um, because she's doing that at the expense, well, actually for the applause of social media. She wants to get the clicks and the likes, and then when she gets the feedback she doesn't like, she's like almost like, I don't care about what they think, but she does, right? Or she would not be talking about it, wouldn't you say? You know, I want to tip my hat off to her honesty, but this is selfishness masquerading as strength, right? And it's fueled by a spirit of envy, like I mentioned before. And the enemy's lies is behind this because Proverbs 14, verse 1, you may have, if you've been listening to me for a while, you've heard me say this very thing. It said, the wise woman builds her house, but the foolish, right? The foolish woman tears hers down. This is not built in her house, would you say? Right? Wives, I want to say to you, dear wife, don't fall for the grass is greener trap. I know, yes, you say, well, husbands do it too. Yes, they do. I'm not going to deny that. They also fall for that. But I find sometimes when you, as the one who is feeling disconnected and emotionally disconnected, the vulnerability rises when it comes to a woman. Because I just did a video. If you don't think I believe me, you see in this video you can watch right here about this wife told her story about she got involved with her husband's friend and fell into in this trap because she felt like he came around when she was being vulnerable. One thing led to another, and they got sexually involved. Now her husband is leaving, and she's talking about the idea. You can watch the video here yourself, and you'll see a lot of people have chimed in. I mean, I've had so many people talk about this video. I would love for you to check out the comments and see what people have been saying, and I would love for you to add your voice to that when you watch that video as well. Now, if your husband is too busy to see you, that's a signal to reconnect, not run. A signal to reconnect, not run. I know it's tiring. I know you might be weary. I know you might be saying, why it's only me? Well, it's not because it's only you. You want to be the wise wife, the wise woman who builds her house, who builds her relationship, who finds and but get a joyful wife book or be a part of the joyful marriage quest, the 6 week coaching journey that I want to take you on so we can actually turn marriages around 180. So I want you to and again invite you to be a part of that so you can see and hear and experience, right? And bridge that gap where you might be right now. And I want to root for your marriage in God's love and show your kids, and you can show your kids what commitment looks like, you know? I mean, she thinks choosing herself is freedom, but it's a chain around her kids' hearts. And really, it's a slap in the face of God's design for marriage. Yes, culture might be cheering, but the devil's directing, right? The culture, the cheerleaders, but the devil, he's a director. So don't buy the lie that envy and discontentment, right? Envy and discontentment lead to joy. No, they don't. They lead to divorce court, unfortunately. God's way, love, sacrifice, commitment wins every time. Every time. And I'll never apologize for that because I seen it. And I'm telling you, I'm married for 40 years because of that very thing. God's love, God's grace, God's mercy, that God's kindness, God's forgiveness, all of that I've seen in, and I can speak from personal experience. And I know others who can also say the same thing as well. So if you're feeling unseen or tempted by the world's glitter, let's change this game. So I want you to subscribe now, right? And then make sure you get on that wait list at, I'm sorry, buildyourhappiermarriage.com, buildyourhappiermarriage.com/wait list. Get on that wait list. And so I can send you when we start this, the webinar or the quest, the journey, you can be a part of that because the webinar is going to be how to reconnect with your husband when you feel like he's slipping away. How to reconnect with your husband when you feel like he's slipping away. So, what we want to do then is throw rocks at the selfish trends like we see happening in this woman's life. These selfish trends. Let's throw rocks at that and build a marriage that glorifies God. Are you going to be with me on that? What do you say? I'd love for you to be on this journey. And that's why I want to encourage you to be a part of the joyful marriage quest. It's a journey. Let's journey 6 weeks together and see what happens at the end of that. Now, if you're interested in talking to me directly, you can always direct message me at Kingsley Grant. You can talk to me here on the platform and in the comments, and I'll get back to you. Or you can direct me on Instagram at Kingsley Grant or wherever else you so choose, wherever you see you can connect with me. Just send me a message, and I'd love to talk to you. But let our conversation be civil and let's be respectful and let's see what we can get. I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts because I don't have a corner on this whole thing. I'm still learning like you, and I want to just share my opinion, my voice, but I'd love to hear yours as well. So I want to pray. I'm praying that as you're listening to this, if your marriage is going through a very hard time, my prayer is that, Lord, guard your heart, that God would guard your heart against envy and discontentment, that God would help you build your marriage on his truth, and that you help you to love sacrificially. Yes, God's love is beyond ours, and that God would protect you and your family from the enemy's lies. That's my prayer for you and your marriage. So again, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with at least one other person. I'd love for you to do that. And again, I'd love to see you on the next video that I share here on the platform. And all the links I mentioned will be in the description below, including where you can find even more information on where I got this video clips from to share with you. So thank you. God bless you. May the Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May you know his peace, his love, his joy, both now and forever. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. And make sure you watch this other video right here. Watch this one. You'll find more of this kind of fired up, strong opinionated kind of thing. If you want to call it that, you'll find in this video right here. Watch it and share and see what others are saying about this very conversation. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.